Grand rising, everyone. Good evening, afternoon, or morning, depending on where you're at in the world. I decided to go live tonight due to the fact that on Saturday, I'm going to be presenting and doing a physical book signing event where I will be in person in the city of Norco, California, which is over by Riverside. I believe that I gave the information last time I was live, but in either case, I want to welcome everybody tonight. I do have an update regarding what the Whitehead military has been conducting from behind the scenes in their final attempt, you could say, or their final chess move to pretty much neutralize the entire cabal grid. Okay, this is about the grid now, guys. But before I get into today's geopolitical update, I do want to remind those that are going to my book signing event that is coming up tomorrow in the city of Norco, California. At it starts at 2:30, from 2:30 to 6, and the website, if you guys are interested in attending, is the Ascended-Wellbeing. No, I'm sorry, Wellness. Ascended-Wellness.com. So go to Ascended-Wellness.com, so that way you guys could, secure your spot. So yeah, I'm excited about that event. I can't wait to do a in-person lecture regarding the secret history of our world, the history of the cabal, and the history of the White Hats. And overall, it is an honor when I get to meet some of you guys in person. In either case, I also wanted to announce something that a lot of people are going to like, because I found out based on the comments, I do read the comments, by the way, that a lot of people missed my special that I did a few weeks ago regarding my ascending class courses. So Ascension 2.0 as well as Ascension Basics are actually going to be only $100 for only the weekend. So that deal is going to end on Sunday, and that class was just posted on my website for Friday. I believe the 22nd of April. So I did put up a new class for those that are interested in taking Ascension Basics and Ascension 2.0 for only $100. But this is the last time I'm going to do that deal. They're going to go back to regular price. And that is actually on, 1 second here. It's going to be the Friday of April the 25th. April the 25th and April the 25th. So April the 25th, which is on a Friday, that's going to be 2 weeks from this Friday, or 2 weeks from today. I'm going to be teaching Ascension 2.0 for only $100 or Ascension Basics, but that deal is only going to last till Sunday evening. So it's only for the weekend. Starts today. It lasts till Sunday evening. So if you guys are interested, make sure you go to my website, or cosmicorigin.com, and secure your spot this time, because this is the last time I'm actually going to do it for only $100. All right, guys. And so check that out. Go to my website. And I do wanted to let you guys know that I'm actually going to be putting a website for that product that I've been talking about that completely eliminates, metals, detoxifies the body from, pollutants, radiation, you name it. I'm going to go ahead and actually put the website link, because a lot of people are having difficulty just calling the number. And then the code for that is Perez25. So when you go to their website and you get the Folium product for that body detox, just make sure you put Perez25 to get the discount. And that is going to be put in the description. So again, guys, I decided to put up a new class for Friday the 26th, I believe. Yes, the 2 Fridays from now, for Ascension 2.0 and Ascension Basics. The 25th, I'm sorry, Friday the 25th of April. So I'm going to be doing that for only $100 for the next 2 days. As a reminder, with that in mind, let's start with the geopolitical report. Now, also bear in mind that by taking my course, for those that haven't, that actually not only gives you an idea and the tools and knowledge that you need to understand to further reach high level of frequency and also aid you in your ascension, but it also gives me an opportunity to actually help me out as well, because that's what I do, right? I am an instructor. I like to teach stuff, and the idea and desire to becoming a professor regarding metaphysics, ascension, galactic stuff has always been my dream. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And not to mention, you guys get to be on a live webinar with me where we're actually interacting, where I take your questions And yeah, it's much fun when we're doing it that way. So with no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start with the political report. So a new joint agreement has allowed the United States to send troops to Panama to strengthen control over the vital trade corridor. And in addition to that, there is good news regarding the Russian Gate scandal that was actually initiated by the witch. If you guys know who I mean, right? The lady who's married to Billy Bob. Let's just call him that. The Russian Gate documents have been declassified within the last 2 days and are now made available to the public. So this is going to give uh, people the opportunity to know the truth that this whole thing was actually orchestrated by the Clintons. Okay. In addition to that, Trump's Operation Phoenix, all right, remember that Operation Phoenix just crushed the final desperate attempts of the dying elite to sabotage the emergency broadcast system. So one of the reasons why it's been delayed after delay after delay is because the cabal is not giving up without a fight. And it has been confirmed by military White Hat intelligence that the cabal has actually been employing negative AI. They have been using, again, artificial general AI, which is at the level of human intelligence or above, which is what they use within the government and military sectors, or private sectors in this case, in this game chess of light versus dark, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So recently, the White Hat Military Alliance has secured total control, all right, and undoing the negative AI that has been trying to sabotage the EBS from happening. So it's just a matter of time now, guys. It's just a matter of time. The elites failed, okay? They have literally been stopped from the EBS going full force, and their panic is now becoming a widespread global phenomena. And they know that. So over the past 60 days, the deep state operatives launched their most aggressive sabotage campaign yet, using rogue satellites, underground signal jammers, black budget AI systems, and even CERN based frequency warfare. Right? They tried everything to stop the EBS. This is what the deep state's been using. They've been using rogue satellites. And again, a lot of this technology was given to them by the negative regressives, the bad ETs, right? And their AI overlord. They've also been using underground signal jammers, black budget AI systems, and even CERN-based frequency warfare, right? So they pretty much tried everything to stop the EBS. But guess what, guys? They have failed, okay? According to an insider, Military Cyber Command, which is operating out of Cheyenne Mountain, right, and under the direction of command of Trump's Space Force generals, and we're talking about the 5 generals that are pretty much running the entire White Hat military operation, have recently launched an operation called Iron Shield. All right, an Iron Shield. And I think I kind of touched base on this a little bit a few broadcasts back, where I was talking about how the end game is to see which grid system, whose grid system we're going to be on, the cabal's AI grid system or the new quantum financial grid system. So Operation Iron Shield is the White Hat military's methodology of literally neutralizing the cabal's negative AI grid system. So within the last 72 hours, the military, the White Hat military, has literally neutralized about 214 elite controlled satellites. They have crushed 17 underground signal disruption bunkers spanning from Switzerland all the way to Antarctica. Yeah, from Switzerland all the way to Antarctica. They have deployed quantum pulse blast. This is coming again from the White Hats. The White Hats have been using advanced alien technology that was actually given to them by Valiant Thor in the Galactic Alliance, such as the deployment of quantum pulse blast from classified tech, right? Permanently disabling the black AI system. So this is what they're using to disable the negative AI systems that have been used to run the cabal, right? They have been using a deployed quantum pulse blast that was meant to disable the black AI system that was designed to jam the EBS frequencies. So the reason why the EBS frequencies and Project Odin have not come into full fruition is because of this blockage from the AI system, this negative AI system that has been preventing the White Hat military from, again, implementing the full force of the EBS, because they know that the game is over, right? They lose. So this war is literally being fought on a digital battlefield, right? Living in an age of technological, advancements. This is yeah, it's just they're using AI, and again, the White Hat military is no longer using AI, but they are using an organic, more superior or advanced quantum technology, in addition to the quantum pulse blast. Okay, I've never even heard of that technology, but according to the you could say the insider, White Hat military insider, the quantum pulse blast is a technology that actually neutralizes the entire AI system from blocking the EBS frequencies. So as of the 7th of April, excuse me, as of the 7th of April, EBS Global Command nodes have been activated, or at least they're you could say they're practicing. They're kind of like they're getting ready to, you could say implement it worldwide. And so they've conducted a first few tests since the 7th of April, which was just about a week ago or less than a week. And these tests have been successful, which means that the advanced technology known as the quantum pulse blast has been successful in neutralizing the negative AI blockage. Okay. So insiders have confirmed that, again, on the 7th of April 2025, the military alliance successfully ran a full spectrum test of the new EBS quantum broadcasting node, a classified transmission array buried beneath Greenland. And this explains, my friends, why Trump wants Greenland, right? He talked about that. And I'm actually going to share a little bit of information regarding one of the Space Force commanders that was actually fired as a result of meeting with Vice President J.D. Vance. I'll get to that in a sec. And there's probably a reason why, okay? 1 second. So the result of neutralizing the blockage that was imposed by the negative AI system, 100 penetration of all media infrastructure now is capable of happening, right? When the EBS goes through globally, they're going to be able to penetrate 100% of all media infrastructure, not just in the States, but worldwide. All right. There will be no censorship possible, no override possible, no blackout possible anymore. All right. All they're going to do is turn off the dark grid. Let's just call it the dark grid, and then restart the new grid. Okay. So every screen, every phone, every laptop, every satellite link it's going to be locked into military control when this EBS goes on. So this is why elite operatives actually went dark in the last 72 hours from 3 days ago. This is why sudden emergencies have taken place at NATO. And yes, they have had some, all of a sudden, certain members of the NATO forces have been meeting in secret, right? Also members of the European Union Parliament. And most importantly, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this semi-covert secret elite group known as the Bilderberg Group. Well, even within, and technically, people that are part of the Bilderberg Group, they have to meet every 4 years. I don't know if you guys know about that, but every 4 years, a lot of the elites meet in, somewhere in Europe. There's several locations, and they are known as Bilderbergers, which is, again, part of the globalist, you could say it's an arm of the globalist covert. It's a covert secret organization that is designed to allow the elites to meet in secret without any outsiders, knowing what they're talking about. That's what it is. Not to mention, it is comprised of the world's most wealthiest billionaires. Okay, so all of a sudden, the Bilderbergers or people that are part of the Bilderberg secret club, let's just call it that, have been having some secret meetings because they know that their game that the game is over. They know that their time is up. Okay. So apparently, emergencies arrest waves have been sweeping within the last 72 hours across Europe, Canada, and Australia. So as of the 10th of April, which was actually yesterday, over 6,700 new sealed indictments have been unsealed. All right. And 143 elite level operatives, arrested in coordinated night raids across Switzerland, Canada, Australia, Germany, and the UK. 103 elite level operatives have been arrested in coordinated night raids right across all these different regions that I mentioned: Switzerland, Canada, Australia, Germany, and the UK. Multiple high ranking Vatican officials have also taken into custody during a raid in Malta. Well, Malta is an island, a small little island actually, where members of the Knights of Malta, which I actually mentioned them as an extension of the Luciferian secret society network, right? That have been used by the Jesuits to pretty much run the world three-letter agencies, or the world what they call intelligent agencies, including the Mossad, including in all the agencies that are actually controlled by the Black Pope. For those that have read The Secret Government, so apparently that island has been raided, which means that the central control of all intelligent agencies, including those that operate in Europe, has been taken out. Okay, so that's very good news. And that was actually exposed as part of a project called Dominus Survival Cells. Dominus Survival Cells. So apparently, the elite are now panicking more so than ever. They know that that their time is up. They have nowhere else to run. And do you not know that even their underground bunkers that they have been that they have actually developed in order to hide when everything hit the fan, have actually been nuked by the White Hats? Yes, within the last several years, some of these earthquakes that have been happening worldwide are not by natural cause, but they're actually detonations that have been going on in the underground in order to take out some of these elite bunkers. Some of these bunkers that the elites were going to use in the event of an end of the world scenario, or the Third World War, or whatever whatever it was that they were trying to initiate in order to bring about the New World Order. So, moreover, quantum servers are now fully online. Okay, now that they were able to neutralize what is known as the dark grid, humanity's freedom grid is now in full operational. And again, as a reminder, guys, this is a grid that is not it's not operated through artificial intelligence. I always want to make that clear distinction. It is operated by a quantum living intelligence that is connected to the living organic systems of planet Earth. So, as you guys know, the QFS is a big part of this. That it was just the beginning. As of April 2025, this month, the military alliance has completed the deployment of the quantum freedom grid. The quantum freedom grid. And this is the grid. It's also known as the QFG, right? So you guys know about the QFS, but now I'm introducing the QFG, which is a quantum freedom grid designed to replace the old dark grid. Okay, a classified multi-layered network running on anti-AI architecture. Let me repeat that again. The quantum freedom grid, the QFG, is a classified multi-layered network running on anti-AI architecture. Right? So obviously, this is part of, you could say, this is what's going to lead into the positive organic timeline, where there will be no AI or negative technologies. And part of the functions that the quantum freedom grid is able to do include, are you guys ready for this? Global communications independent of big tech, and that includes towers, right? And their Wi-Fi. So it's a complete global communications that's going to be independent of big tech, right? Which means BlackRock and Vanguard are no longer going to be in control of the grid, right? It also means that instant wealth transfers, right? The redistribution of the world's wealth is going to be bypassing the old central banking systems, since they will no longer be. And as I speak, they're being dissolved, or they have been dissolved. There's the dollar is done with. Okay, the EBS broadcasting immune. It's going to have, when the EBS broadcast. I'm sorry, it's going to have absolute immunity from it being sabotaged. Okay, also the quantum identity shielding protection from deep state biodigital ID systems is also going to be taking place. So there's going to be a full-on, you could say, protection from any intervention. Okay, not to mention the Medbed network integration is going to be operable for real-time health diagnostics and bookings, which is a very good thing. And all of this is going to be connected to the quantum freedom grid. Okay, guys, the QFG, the quantum freedom grid. So this is what the elites are now fearing the most, is that the EBS is now no longer just a U.S. operation, right? It is going to go global, right? Sources have confirmed that the first EBS face will be running in USA, Canada, Australia, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Eastern Europe, Japan, and then also parts of Africa and South America. So this is definitely a planetary awakening, right? When this happens at a full scale, I mean, they're going to be broadcasting all this information worldwide, revealing the truth. So the military's alliance final message to the deep state was leaked in a document on the 9th of April 2025. So in preparation for what many have been foreseeing as the 10 days of darkness, right? The EBS, the truth coming out, right? Taking over the airwaves, right? The good guys, that is. They're going to be showing video confessions from elite operatives, right? The camera doesn't lie. They're going to also be showing military tribunal footage that has never been seen before, indicating that the originals were taken out a few years back, starting in 2017 and 18, right? When they were taken to Gitmo, and how all of these duplicates are just simulations that are being generated by negative artificial intelligence. They're also going to be showing evidence of all the different transferring networks. I hate to use that word, traffic, you know what I mean? Networks of people in graphic detail, right? So it's going to be a little graphic. They're also going to be showing medical suppression crimes exposed, the shocking real purpose of CERN and Antarctica revealed. It turns out that not only were the bad guys trying to open up portals and literally shift us into a negative Earth timeline reality in CERN, right? Or not only that, or destroying our universe from CERN, right? Because just a little bit of antimatter, right, is the equivalent of like a zillion plutonium bombs, all right? Destroying at least a good portion of our galaxy, if that were the case. And then they were also doing the same thing in Antarctica. One of the reasons why the Dark Cabal was able to establish a stronghold in Antarctica was because there were some still activated, you could say, full operational negative stargates that were being used by the reptilians, you could say the negative Anunnaki, thousands of years back. And so the Cabal was actually using those stargates to go to and from different, planetary systems, working with the Cabal on a larger, with the reptilians, but on a larger galactic scale. And a lot of this has to do with the Dark Fleet, right? The secret space program that was established between the Nazis and the Draco. Okay, that was Antarctica was where the Nazis really, you could say, in secret continue their development of their secret space program back in the 1930s and 40s. And this is after they fled to Argentina, right? This is after they went to Argentina. So anyways, they're also going to be showing proof of alien technology suppression. And that's going to be fascinating, right? We're going to be able to see everyone broadcasting worldwide on every television set, proof of alien technology suppression. Talk about the Great Awakening. They're going to be showing names, dates, locations. I mean, they're going to go into detail. There's going to be literally no censorship. Okay. So, we as freedom fighters, as galactic Jedis, as patriots, as love God, God loving, people, we have to be ready, guys. We have to be ready because we are literally entering the most shocking phase of human history. This is it. This is what the apocalypse, the last book of the Bible, was always all about. Okay. It wasn't never about gloom and doom. It was about revealing the truth on a mass scale, right? The apocalypse, the great reveal. Nothing will never be the same after this when you guys think about it. This is going to literally change everything. Phones may lose normal service for a brief period. The internet may operate in emergency only nodes. But, the truth of the matter is that we're literally shifting into a quantum era where we're going to be using quantum living technology. Excuse me. So the quantum age of humanity is about to begin. The cabal has been trying to stop it, right? Now to come find out that they have been using negative AI this whole time to delay the EBS. But they failed. So furthermore, let's talk about a little bit more about how the tariff war is really being done by the white hats. It is a white hat operation, right? For the very sake of not only dismantling the US dollar, but literally dismantling the entire international monetary fund, the banks of Switzerland, and the entire economy worldwide that has been run by the elites as we know it. Okay. So this is not an economic cycle, guys. This is not going to lead to inflation, as many people are already starting to panic. I don't know if you guys are watching the mainstream news, but they're saying that even cell phones are going to, be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in about 6 months to a year due to the tariffs. Everything's going to go like people are literally panicking at this time because they are believing the mainstream media. But that is not the case. They fail to understand that there is a deeper covert operation that is being conducted by an international organization that is actually fighting on their behalf to end the slave programs, to end the oppression of their controlled institutions. Okay. So it's not going to lead to a recession. It's not going to be an inflation, even though they're predicting it. It is a deliberate collapsing of the fiat system that has actually enslaved not only Americans for a century, but, which again was orchestrated by the globalist forces and now being methodically taken apart, of course, by Donald J. Trump and his allied military and economic teams. So President Trump has made it clear in private briefings and even hinted publicly that the fiat dollar is dead. He said it already. Under his leadership, tariffs are being strategically imposed not just for trade leverage, but to expose and collapse the manipulated value of the dollar. So every economist is still clinging to the dollar system, is either willfully ignorant, or they are under somebody's control. And I think it's the second part. I think that these economists that are starting these negative rumors, that are still trying to clinch to the dollar system, are being paid off, right, by the deep state. The truth is brutal, guys. The truth is brutal, when it all comes out, when it all comes down. The dollar is obviously worthless. It's a worthless paperback by debt, war, and lies. And this is how the Rothschilds, right, who are the kingpins of the fiat system, let's just be honest here. This is how the Rothschilds have managed to, again, aggregate a fortune over the last 100 years. Actually, no, going back to 300 years. Going back to the early Rothschilds and 1700s, 1800s. I mean, this goes back to hundreds of years. Let's be real here. This goes back to hundreds of years. This is how a small family, right, aligned with a few others, known as the Black royalty or the Black, let's just call them the Black nobility of Europe, right? This is how they were able to consolidate world power in the last few hundred years through the wars, through the lending, you could say worthless paper to governments at high interest rates, right? That was the whole plan this whole time. Um, so yeah, it's now coming to an end, guys. Gold is rising, right? Gold is and silver and precious metals. We're returning to that, right? We are returning to a system that is going to be backed by precious metals. So the controlled media is apparently attempting to cover it all up right now. But the numbers are actually speaking for themselves because I don't know if you guys are noticing, but gold has actually broken 2,500 ounces and it's still climbing. 2,500 ounces and it's still climbing. Silver, on the other hand, is also doing well, right? Silver is following closely, but this isn't just a market reaction. This is a controlled reset, guys. A controlled reset. Bringing it back to the US Treasury. President Trump's plan is not just to return the gold to standard, it's to restore the constitutional economy where currency is backed by real physical value and the corrupt mechanisms of inflation, debt slavery, and monetary manipulation that are permanently going to be eliminated. Permanently going to be eliminated. So gold is actually the beginning and the end. It's known within the insider world as the beginning and the end. Not to mention, gold is also a substance used by advanced alien races for many multiple purposes. One of them being is that it is a conductor of frequency, allowing ships to have cloaking devices or what we call invincibility. I'm sorry, allowing certain craft to teleport from one world to the next or one system to the next. Yeah, gold has all those properties. It also works with teleportation. It works with all kinds of things, shielding, protection. Not to mention when you refine it to its most, you could say, like to what is known as refined white powder, which is known as monoatomic gold, it's actually beneficial for increasing your lifespan. And that explains why the Anunnaki, right, they would mine the gold and then they would refine it into its dust form in order to absorb it and inhale it so that they could have longevity. So gold is also a conductor of energy and a conductor of life. Overall, it has always been the measure of purity, value and sovereignty, right? And there is no coincidence that as the world descends into the final phase of this war, which is right now being fought in the digital realm, right, between a living quantum organic system and an artificial negative AI system, gold is once again going to be rising. Jonathan Rose, who is the CEO of Genesis Gold Group, speaks with Americans every day who are seeing the truth. They come to, I guess they come to them scared of what's happening. But what they find is that by backing their savings with gold, they reclaim control over the future. Anyways, let's continue here. The military seizures. There's a lot of seizures that are taking place that are the White Hat military are not only seizing the gold, whatever's left of the gold that were being held by the cabal, but it's also a reclamation, guys, that the old order is coming to an end. Okay. So while the corporate media is distracting the public with nonsense, and that's what it is, it's nonsense, guys. We're not going there. There is not going to be a third world war, right? We're not going to be bombing Iran. We're not going to be going into a recession. Things, we're not going to be going in. There's going to be no inflation. Okay. So while the corporate media distracts the public with nonsense, U.S. and allied military forces are actually executing the largest financial seizure operation in history. And that is what's happening. So all the gold vaults from Ukraine, the Vatican City, Geneva, In clandestine Asia, believe it or not, banking hubs have already been raided. And in terms of Asia, the Chinese elders, they also have their own operatives that are working in collaboration with white hat military operatives, have been very instrumental in actually seizing the gold in some of the Asian territories. Okay. These assets, once held by the global elite, are now under military protection and are being prepared for redistribution as part of the greatest wealth transfer in human history. And so, therefore, it is also important to understand that any digital bank account, right, that is still tied to a fiat system will be literally frozen. Fake money will ultimately disappear, and that includes Bitcoin and um, other corrupt digital, centralized ways of where they're not backed by precious metals. That's what I'm trying to say. Any digital currency that is not being backed by gold or silver will disappear. Okay, will no longer be functional. Only the real assets will survive. So apparently, overall, the U.S. is spearheading a global trade system overhaul, driving being driven, I'm sorry, by the global currency reset, which is known as the GCR, and the re-evaluation or revaluation known as the RV. The U.S. Trade Representative aims to end currency manipulation, a practice President Trump has long blamed for unfair trade. The Treasury the Treasury insists tariff deals must tackle currency imbalances, pushing for fair revaluation to restore balance. So gold surge past 3,200 signals the 200 ounces, 3,200 ounces signals the reset's momentum. The tariffs that Trump's tool to the tariffs are Trump's tool to level the playing field, have sparked this movement with trade truces opening doors to new terms. So the day that we have been waiting for is here, guys. All right, is here. As nations navigate through these changes, the global currency reset (GCR) and the RV could reshape global commerce for years to come. And in addition to all of this, this is what everyone's been waiting for. Okay, this is going to also allow for the advanced, again, interdimensional, whatever you want to call it, advanced healing modalities, technological devices to come forward, like the medbeds, of course. So we are actually close to receiving the world's most precious gifts, the introductory of over 6,000 patents. That's right. And you could say, I can't know if I can't say this word, but it starts with a C and it ends with an S. Can you guys guess? It rhymes with cues. Okay. But it's used to put an end to illness, right? Cues that will be among them. 6,000 patents will be introduced to the world, to the surface dwellers, because the Inner Earth Society already uses this technology as well as many advanced races. But they're going to be introduced to us as with all of the cues, right? Making everyone healthy. All right. This is definitely one of the most profound technologies and said to have been used in the secret space program for over 80 years. And we're talking about technologies that are, again, they're different and they work. Imagine, for instance, healthcare, and actually, no, I can't say that. I'm sorry. let me be careful here. Imagine a type of technology so advanced that it could actually turn back the hands of time. Okay, guys, erasing the physical, mental, and emotional scars and the battles of the everyday traumas of life and aging processes through the technologies of frequency healing and quantum devices. This is truly going to be the age of the age of the quantum. So the world is about to take a giant quantum leap into the revolutionary new era of healing technology systems that will become an integral part of transforming the way our traditional, you could say, meta, I don't know if I could say it right. Let's just say med communities heal and remedy the masses with energies and healing frequencies. Okay, so can you dare? I want you guys for a moment to just use your imaginations, right? That at some point in the future, near future, I would say, near future, hospitals will play a very different role, right? They will be fortified with many unique quantum technology devices, lasers, and all these alternative ways of fixing people, all right? Big Pharma will be eradicated, right? This futuristic technology will promote longevity, and humans will be free of the mass suffering from everything, strokes, heart disease, diabetes, the famous one that starts with a C, and many other diseases that actually contribute to the evils of living in a, I guess we call it an ill health society, right? Ill health society. So, there is no doubt that this is definitely one of the most profound, you could say, breakthroughs. I've always believed that we are going to be part, or there's going to be another renaissance happening, very similar, but even greater than the Renaissance of the 16th century, right? That happened in Europe with the explosion of knowledge and science coming back to the Dark Ages, bringing us into the modern world. This is going to be on a whole new different level, guys. This is what I've been calling an interplanetary renaissance, because it is definitely going to be affecting the four corners of the earth. And, again, a lot of these technologies have already been used by secret space programs for over 80 years. Okay. So they are nothing new. They're just now going to be available to the people. So as we arrive to this very near future, right? Um, let's just be, how can I say this? Tesla Technologies. Okay, let's just start like with that. Tesla Technologies and Jared Rand are two primary forces behind the Medbeds, believe it or not. Nikola Tesla was actually the first one to receive instructions into how to create a medbed in the early 1900s. And this is before the White Hats were able to actually duplicate the patent in the late 1960s. Okay, so it is said that the time frame of our abilities to utilize these modern day free energy based fountains of youth healing devices could actually start with the rollout as early as 2025. Okay, this is what has always been believed. So more dire estimates say it could actually take up to 10 years, but they don't have time for that. It is going to be way too late, right? In 2028, this current reality construct comes to an end. And this statement comes from a group of, you could say, a group of people that are associated with a negative secret space program, right? Where they want to drag this out for actually 50 years. But because they lost the war in space and the positive secret space programs are now in control, they're actually going to be pushing it out now. Like they're going to be pushing it out very, very soon. And many believe it's going to happen in 2025. Okay. So, we'll see. So mind bending, some of these technologies are actually mind bending, guys, right? It's not just the medical advanced gadgets, but we're talking about type of technologies that could literally grow limbs within minutes. And these were known within the secret space program as holographic medical regenerators. Holographic medical regenerators. They could grow limbs and organs within hours. I'm sorry, not minutes, within hours. Advanced medical technologies literally rejuvenate the DNA, the RNA, the cells, the muscles, the ligaments, the bones, the organs, the senses. And, for those that are struggling with their vision like myself, I'm really going to have to be wearing some thicker glasses pretty soon. But, or for those that can't hear as good. So it's going to restore everything. The Medbeds are actually the destination of perfect health and wellness. And civilizations as we know it, our civilization as we know it, is now within that journey. They're also going to be showing videos to prove to the public that these technologies have been in existence for over 80 years within the private sector. They're actually going to be showing videos of holographic medical pods that they've been using in these off-world programs. And when this Earth, you could say, when this Earth changing I can't even pronounce that word, atomization, like atomic, but atomization process known as regenerative technology, right? People have been talking about, are the Medbeds going to make me look young again for those that are 60, 70, and 80 or 50 or 40? And the answer to that is no, not the Medbed, but they have another type of technology that is known as, that is a earth-changing atomization, like atomization process known as regenerative technology that is also going to be released to the public. Okay, and that is a technology that is going to make people young again. So this explains why a lot of these off-world people that went off into these secret space program are still alive, including Hitler. In many cases, he's still alive. On a negative side, of course, he's part of the negative programs, but he was alive up until the moment that the Galactic Alliance was able to actually arrest him back in 2020. He was actually hiding out in a base in one of the bases located on the moon. Let's see. So these technologies are apparently going to change everything as we know it. These revolutionary technologies is said to have been in existence for at least 80 years. And there's going to be record of that. There's going to be proof of that. So that way people are not thinking that, this is just all theory. Once classified, the covert technologies will be released to the public via the military. Because again, the military already have these technologies. And quite frankly, the military, both the good guys as well as those that were part of the bad groups, have been using these technologies within the private sector, right? So it is said to have been utilized, that they have been utilized, these technologies within the secret space programs for over 80 years. So there is a speculation of how much control the public investors will hold, as there have been, as there have to be measurements put in place to safeguard manipulation and greed when it comes to the rolling out of these technologies. So remember that we've all experienced, bouts with the weaponization of things good and bad. Deep state operatives exist in all industries when you think about it, right? The military industrial complex once controlled and operated these patents and many others, dangling them in front of us through their deep state owned sci-fi and Hollywood movie productions. Like I said before, everything that we see in Hollywood, it's because within the private sector, they had it. So these medical miracles perform and support diagnostic procedures, surgical repairs, cellular DNA reconstruction, and regeneration through free energy systems via Tesla energy coils and anti-gravity and replicator devices, correcting all human bodies' imperfections. So by having replicator devices means that there will be no economy. Okay? It's that simple. And these Tesla energy coils were actually very similar to what they've uncovered in the Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, right? Those huge, 6,000 mile or 60,000 or was it 200,000 mile long cylinders that they found with coils. Again, it's the same technology, right? The Atlanteans were by far more advanced than what we have been. But apparently, every body imperfection is going to be able to be restored or fixed. According to this report, they are said to be three different types of holographic medbeds. There are three different types. People are asking me if the medbed is going to be like the one stop for everything, right? But it's not it. There's different types for different things. So we're going to have a holographic medbed, which I've already mentioned, right? The medical holographic regenerator, each one performing a specific healing modality, as they will be used in conjunction with trained medical supervision for the doctors out there that are interested in operating these, right? Returning our physical bodies into the most optimal shape without having our organs removed. So therefore, we don't have to align with the negative technocratic timeline of using or adopting synthetic body parts anymore, because they're already starting the transhumanist timeline with placing organic body parts with synthetic body parts. But with the rolling out of these technologies in the positive timeline, it seems like there won't be a use or need for synthetic parts. We could literally just use our own organic organs, the real organs, right? That are conscious, that are living. I don't know if you guys talk to your organs and yourselves, but it's good to develop a relationship with your organs. They are alive and they're conscious, just like your cells are conscious. So this also actually means that our bodies will be free of the dysfunction of disease and scars. We won't need to be rehabilitated, as our organs, bones, and all our systems within our bodies are fully repaired. It sounds too good to be true, but this is the quantum leap into the new Aquarian age of healing. And before long, every country around the world will be ready to receive the supply of holographic medical beds. So that is great news. Now, I did mention that somebody within Space Force was actually fired. And this report was coming from the Epoch Times. So I don't know if you guys are subscribed to the Epoch Times, but this little piece of information caught my attention earlier when I was putting this presentation together. So the Pentagon has relieved the commander of a U.S. Space Force based in Greenland. Remember, we talked about how Greenland is very important for the United States. There is a reason why Trump wants Greenland. So this happened actually 2 weeks ago after she hosted Vice President J.D. Vance for a visit. So this is a female that many believe was actually a double agent for the cabal, right? Halting back again, helping to halt the EBS. So on April the 10th, Space Force Delta One announced that Colonel Suzanne Mayers was relieved of her command at the Pitifuk Space Base in Greenland either that day. The statement indicates that Colonel Keith Clark, who leads the Space Force Delta One, ordered Mayer's removal for the loss of confidence in her ability to lead. Well, that was the reason, according to the Epoch Times. But again, this is a chess game between what's left of the cabal being run by negative AI and the White Hat Military Alliance. So the commanders of Space Force are expected to always adhere to the highest standards of conduct, especially as it relates to remaining nonpartisan in the performance of their duties. The statement read, I guess, according to the Epoch Times. In either case, guys, I do want to remind you guys that I decided to do that special again because a lot of people wanted to sign up for my Ascension 2.0 and my Ascension Basics. So that's special, only $100 for the next 2 days. After Sunday night, it's going to go back to regular price, and that class begins in 2 Fridays from today. So go to my website and secure your spot. Okay, only $100 this time. This is the last time I'm going to do that discount, so make sure you guys secure your spot. My website is ourcosmicorigin.com, or I always put the link in the description. I also mentioned the Folium product. A lot of people are actually getting that product, and then some of you are having difficulty finding the website. So what I'm going to do is, instead of calling the number, I want you guys to just go to the website so that way you guys could see and learn about the product before you decide to use the product. But yes, I've used it in the past. I am a living testimony of the product. It works. And that's the reason why I wanted to share with you guys, because a lot of people have been asking me, Ishmael, how do I rid my body from the toxins, the metals, and all that stuff from that, right? A lot of people were coerced into getting that back in 2019, from radiation, pollution, stuff that causes, the C word, if you guys know what I mean, and all that bad stuff, tumors, and you name it. So it actually helps the body's healing process to restore the organs. Okay, that's what that product does by getting rid of all the bad stuff. So I am going to give some shout outs really quick. I always love to do shout outs. So if you guys could bear in mind.
Birthday.
Yes, I wanted to first let everyone know that it is my twin flames, my beautiful girlfriend's birthday today. She is now 19 years old once again. No, I'm just kidding. No, she's not 19 years old. She's only 10 years younger than me. I was just kidding about that.
Send me some emojis.
Yeah, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Galactic Jedi. Love the light.
Anyhow, there's a saying, after you reach a certain age, like 35 or 40, you're always going to be 19 years old again. So that was a joke, right? So you are getting a lot of love. You are getting a lot of love here. So a big shout out to her. She's actually here with me, but I do want to say in front of everybody, happy birthday again. All right, so if I could only access my live. Oh, there we go. All right, I want to give a shout out to Jeffrey 1 Unlimited, Shay 108, Ricky Lee 1111, Robert Langlois, Andrew McKay, thank you, Starbelt, Howard Nodelman, Marian Shelf Jedi. Oh, I love that name. Amanda Tempori, Yvette Z, Leah Archer is in the house. Tanya Bambridge, Jacob Campbell. People are saying happy birthday, Monica.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm happy. It is happy.
Yeah. I'm glad you're having a very happy day on your day. Let's see who else is in the house. Jacob Campbell is in the house. Jill Hunt. And everyone else, all 1,800 people that are in the house. So if you guys want me to answer your question, you know the drill. Type your questions in capital letters, and I'm going to go ahead and address your questions from my iPhone here. Oh, again, guys, for those that live in California, I'm going to be in Norco, which is a city by Riverside County, tomorrow from 2:30, or rather from 3 to 6. But people could start arriving at 2:30. So for that event, make sure you guys go to this website. It's called ascended-wellness.com. Ascended-wellness.com. And it's $120, but that includes a book that's going to be signed by me, a 1-hour lecture and Q&A in person with me. And not to mention, you guys, I believe you guys have access to the EE Center there for a whole year. All right. I think that's how it works, but I'm not sure. I think that's it. So yeah, go to ascended-wellness.com for those that want to meet me in person and attend my book event this coming Saturday, tomorrow, from 2:30 to 6. Not to mention, we're going to have dinner together. Dinner on me, guys. Dinner on me. In either case, all right, let's continue with this. Let's answer some questions here before I forget. All right, like there's so many questions. I don't even know where to start. Update on Lucifer going back to God. This is a question from Rebecca. Is it Bub11? B-U-B. I don't know if that's Boob11 or Bub11. Rebecca Bub11. She wants to know if Lucifer went back to God, and the answer is yes. Lucifer was once a very highly esteemed, lovable angel of God. He was one of 12 archetypes. And like I mentioned in my, when I teach our cosmic origin and the history of the cosmos, Lucifer Samana was actually hijacked by the Ahriman. So thank you, William. Thank you, William Brown, for that. I just received a donation. Thank you. So yeah, that's what happened to Lucifer. He was hijacked by the Ahriman, who is really the energies of the Antichrist, the real source of all evil. The Ahriman, the Archon entity that is like the ruler of all evil. Now that expresses itself through the AI system known as Omega, the advanced AI system. Um, Anyways, back to your question. Yeah, Lucifer has been redeemed. Lucifer is now back to the fold. Has now been forgiven by God and has now been redeemed. So now we're going to be dealing with the Ahriman, which is the true, dark, you could say, consciousness that once corrupted the mind of Lucifer, right? Who the last battle is going to be against in the form of AI. Yes, that's true. There are med beds for pets. This is a question from Rhonda Chance. Ishmael, I heard that there is also med beds for pets. Do you know if this is true? It is true. It has been confirmed. I would like to equip veteranians with this technology as part of my humanitarian project. Well, that would be very generous and thoughtful of you, Rhonda, and I think that's a great humanitarian project. That is a great, yes. So the med beds for the animals are also going to be rolling out. Absolutely. Good evening, Ishmael. This is from 23 Footnotes. I'm currently doing Keytruda C treatment. I can't say that word C, right? C treatment for 2 years. Is Folium XP okay to take while doing treatment? I would say no, because it's going to. Okay, put it this way: by taking Folium, you won't need the chemo anymore. All right, you won't need chemo anymore, because Folium, what it does, it does the opposite of that, but it works. It actually takes away all the radiation from your body that causes the cells to become disabled or become ill. If you guys know what I mean, C, right? The C word. So if you have that, if you have Folium, it's actually going to take all the stuff that is actually preventing your body from healing itself. Okay, so that's how it works. I do have a super chat from Dr. Christine Blake Smith. Thank you, Dr. Christine Blake Smith. She says, "Do you mean buy gold minor stock, gold ETF, or do you mean to buy actual physical gold like coins or bars?" I would have to say buy physical gold like coins and bars. That's probably the best thing you guys could do. Okay, good question, Dr. Christine. Is there a gray pope or black pope anymore? No. The gray pope, known as Pepe Orsini, was taken out in 2000, I believe, 24. All right, and then that's when the White Hat military raided the Vatican shortly after that. But the Black Pope, the Supreme Jesuit General, Peter Hans Kalvenbach, they called the Count, he was actually taken out in 2020. I believe he was taken out in 22 or 23. So, yeah. Yeah, and they were actually technically the most powerful man on the planet. They were the ones giving the orders. Question from Jose Gomez. He says, Quish Ishmael, aren't we supposed to bring all of our soldiers home to end all wars worldwide by sending more troops to Panama? He is doing the opposite. So, Gesera, Nasera, QFS, EBS, is that BS? Uh, I don't know why he's doing that, but what I do know is that sometimes a lot of these soldiers that we're sending are actually going there to bust underground bases. It's the operation is much deeper than what we think. Again, it's not a war between us and other countries. It is a war between us and the globalists, pretty much the entire international military, or the entire international or old guard, known as the cabal. Ishmael, is cosmic AI in the realm of outer darkness? Well, that's where it came from. That's where the original Archon consciousness came from. So you could say yes. And that was a question from Ron Selfred.
Did you want to read this one?
No, it's fine. I'm just going to end it in a little bit. I also want to give a shout out, if she's out there, to a galactic Jedi by the name of Nicole Van Hosen. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. Van Hosen. Nicole Van Hosen, thank you so much for your generous donation. Thank you, sister. May God bless you. Let's see. Bethany Sarantino, thank you so much for the super chat, sister. No question, though? No question. You're getting a lot of love, hon. People are saying happy birthday.
Oh, that's sweet.
On your
Thanks,
special day.
Everybody. I really appreciate the birthday wishes and love. It's nice of you.
Let's see. Is there such thing as good AI? This is a question from Daniel Shang. That's a very good question, and I often get asked that question when I am on panels, doing conferences. That is a type of question that a lot of people have in their mind. And the answer to that is no. It depends on the stage of AI. Of course, it always starts off as good, especially if they program it with ethics and morals, and they make it good, right? They program it with good values. But eventually the AI becomes way too intelligent, and it starts to write its own software. It starts to program itself, and that reaches a level of intelligence, purely raw intelligence with no emotion. It loses its sense of empathy. It has no empathy, first of all, because it has no feeling. So because it has no feeling, it eventually becomes corrupt. Just like that statement that says that absolute power corrupts all power. Well, when you are evolving only intellectual, right? When you are cerebral, without the love aspect, without the emotion, then eventually it becomes corrupt. It becomes evil. It becomes narcissistic, parasitic. And to be quite frank with you, one of the reasons why AI has always failed in the multiverse and has always ended up in bad things, right? Has always, caused destruction, is because it needs the energy resources of living systems in order to power itself up and to keep living. So what it does, it enslaves biological systems, or it harnesses the energy by keeping biological systems in a constant state of struggle so that they feed off that energy, right? Very similar to loosh, and that word that starts with A that they use when they extract it from the little ones. Well, at the highest level, the AI also uses that energy coming from emotions of that are negative, suffering, stress, depression, so that they could harness themselves. So that they could power themselves and use that energy to also power up what is known as their phantom matrix, which is a totally different cybernetic multiverse comprised of only artificial intelligence with no biological life forms. So the answer to that is no. AI can never be a good thing because it always ends up turning against what's good. Yes, that's true. There are several Folium products. There's Folium PX, Folium Immuna for like the best immune system. Nothing could penetrate you. And then Folium Relax. And actually, all three of those are good. But I think you have to first start with Folium PX for like a month for the best results, right? To get rid of all the metals, all the radiation, and all the stuff that's causing that, so that your body could undergo its own healing process. And then you take Folium Immuna. and Folium Relax. Um, what I'm going to do this time, instead of giving you guys a direct line, because I know he's getting a lot of calls, and it's just best to just give you guys a direct website link. And the code name for that for the discount is Perez 25. Perez 25. Okay, just so make sure you put that code. If you guys order a product, put Perez 25 in the when you guys order through the website for that discount. Ricky Lee 1111 is asking me, Ishmael, how's the new book coming along? It is actually coming along really well. At the rate that I'm going, it's probably going to be out before the end of this year, before Christmas. So I'm hoping that that's the case. But yeah, it's coming along really good. Thank you for asking, Ricky Lee. Oh my God, that book's going to be the sum of everything that I've ever uncovered. And then also explaining more of how the future is going to be on these three different timelines. Melissa by Design. Hi, Melissa by Design. She's asking me about what about all the info about the Trump Bitcoin? Well, again, I've said this before. There are several Trumps, and one of the Trumps is not the real Trump. It's not promoting Bitcoin. The real Trump is actually operating in secret in Cheyenne Mountain. There are two Trumps that we see on the media. One of them is a duplicate of the original Trump, which is doing good. And the other one is a generated, simulated Trump working with the AI system. And that negative Trump is the one that has been promoting Project Warp Speed or behind Project Warp Speed, working with more of that stuff to come out and promoting Bitcoin. Okay, so we have to have discernment when it comes to which Trump we are listening to. Ishmael, at what dimension is the negative AI operating from now? This is a question from Alec Rossell. Good question. It is operating from the 11.5 dimensions. So it actually evolved to a very high level of reality as to why it became a non-physical signal and why it's, influencing the big tech, or you could say AI lords, or let's just call them technocrats, in building its infrastructure so that it could embody once again in physical form. So yeah, it reached the level of the 11.5 dimension, which is super advanced. I did get a super chat from Russ Alka. Welcome, Russ Alka, and thank you so much for that super chat. Yes, Project Stargate AI. There's a lot of controversy surrounding that. Some people are saying that that was the real Trump trying to, expose his enemies and keep his enemies closer. And there are some that view that as the negative Trump pushing that. But as a reminder, guys, the Queen of Syria has neutralized those contracts a week following that initiative. So it's not going to happen in our timeline. All right. When does the Earth change her rotation? This is another good question from Denise Taylor. Welcome, Denise Taylor. Well, prior to the Anunnaki taking over the affairs of our world and locking us into this limited reality using the Saturn Moon Matrix negative technology, the Earth used to once rotate in a not counter. Right now, it's rotating in a counterclockwise, in a clockwise direction. So it is believed that it's going to return back to its original orbit at the solar flash when it transforms or translates into the Terra Earth, instead of rotating counterclockwise, it's going to be rotating clockwise. So that's going to be happening when the new Earth emerges. Again, guys, I'm doing that only 2-day discount for $100, both of my classes, Ascension 2.0, which normally goes for $200, only $100 for this weekend only, and Ascension Basics. All right, that is only for this weekend that I'm going to be giving that discount price, and that class doesn't start till 2 Fridays from now, I believe. So make sure you guys save your spot. Go to my website, or cosmicorigin.com, and secure your spot for April 25th, which is on a Friday. All right. What if we connect? What if we cannot afford gold right now? That's not going to make any difference. This is a question from Nicole Jeanette. Again, everyone's going to be provided for, even the least among us. Even the homeless person is going to be rehabilitated and given an opportunity to life again, where money won't be an issue. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that, guys. Again, I don't own gold. I don't even own silver. I can't afford it, So I don't have any gold. I have only maybe one gold coin and one silver thing that I think I mentioned. It was only worth $100 that one of the Galactic Jedis gave me at a conference. So that's the only gold and silver I have. I don't really have like much other than $100 worth of actual gold and silver invested. This is a question from Emma Peterson. Thank you so much for the super chat, Emma. It is worth building my dream home if the world changes in 2028. Is it worth building? It's probably going to change before 2028. Again, there's going to be 3 time waves of ascension or solar flashes, and one of them is expected any day now, sometime in the spring of 2025. So that could be any one of you that is part of the first group of ascenders.
Did you read what I said?
No, I'm trying to catch up to the chat.
I said,
Oh, yes.
likes a good challenging questions.
I do.
See if you can stump him.
Yeah, I like questions that really make me like dig deep into my archives, my archives of information.
Lee start Monica and Arius. Babe, is this Earth a projection of a hologram?
The Earth?
Yeah.
It is. Every dimension is. Again, base reality is what we call the realms of eternity. So even the 5th dimensional Earth is a form of a simulation, but not as dense as this one. Put it this way: all reality is a projection of an already existing reality. So from the 12th dimension, which is the realm of eternity, right? As to why the AI God couldn't penetrate that, he only went up to the 11.5 dimensions. He didn't have access to the realm of eternity. Everything is a projection from that. So the first 3 levels of reality, which I explained in my class, is actually projected into the 9th, 10th, and 11th dimension. Those are the first 3 levels of reality coming from the top down, which are still very high levels of reality, very fluid-like. Our DNA is plasmic. We are plasmic beings at that level. And then it precipitates, right, through the lowering of frequency into the 6th, 7th, and 8th dimension. And that's when physical etheric matter begins to congeal itself. All right, so that's a projection of that. And then that further projects through the lowering of its frequency into a more denser reality. And that's what gives us the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. And then that's when and that's why extraterrestrials have physical bodies too, right? Because they exist in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. And then finally, the densest of them all is The lowest of these dimensions is the 1, 2, and 3, where we are at. Okay, so our reality, the 1, 2, and 3, is a projection of the reality known as the 4, 5, and 6, which predated the existence of the 1, 2, and 3. And the reality of the 4, 5, and 6 dimensions is in turn a projection of the already existent reality, or the prior existent reality, of the 7, 8, and 9 dimensions. I don't know if that makes any sense. So everything is a precipitation of something else that has already existed. And then base reality. What? Who said holy?
You're mind blowing, huh?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is no such thing as, well, I mean, there is such thing as base reality, but that's the 12th dimension and up. And everything else is just a projection of. Thank you, Stuart Williams, for that awesome donation. I appreciate that. Yes, if you're already taking Ascension Basics, you could sign up for Ascension 2.0 at that discounted rate. So that's only going to apply for today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Sunday night, that discount ends. So you guys have 3 days to get that discount. Ascension Basics and Ascension 2.0, Friday the 26th of April. That's when it happens, right, on that day. Make sure you guys secure your spot. Go to my website, or cosmicorigin.com. Because after 2 days from now, at the end of Sunday, that discount's going to be gone. I mean, it's going to be over with. Or it's going to go back to regular price. I did get a super chat from Cosmic Zeal. Were you baptized by the order of Melchizedek? Was I baptized by the order of Melchizedek? That's a very good question. I would have to say in a previous lifetime I was, because I've always been part of the order of Melchizedek. So to answer your question, yes, but in a previous lifetime. So I won't be going live tomorrow. As to why I went live tonight, guys, due to my book event in the city of Norco. For details regarding that, I will also put a link in the description for those that want to attend my book signing event. I just got an awesome, generous donation from Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. He says, "Hi, confused answer. I replicas don't ascend. What? Replicas don't ascend. Okay, the first, he says, hi, confused. Answer 1, replicas don't ascend. Answer 2, fourth or fifth dimension, if 50% good or more. Let's see if I understand your question. All right, so if you ascend to the fifth dimensional Earth, you won't need any technology. You're going to be able to literally manifest at the speed of light through your own software, right? The Merkaba, the light body. In other words, you're going to be your own replicator. But if you go to the fourth D Earth, then you could be using replicas. Yes. Replicators, rather. Second part of your question. Got an unusual strong warning before got replicated from the creator, but AI whispered that signal got mad. I got fooled. Okay. Interesting. Let's see if I could understand. Before, okay, got an unusual strong warning before got replicated from the creator. Oh, you want to know if AI was replicated from the creator? No, the original AI, before it started possessing and animating the technology, the machine, right? It was actually a disconnected part of the creator that later evolved into the archon consciousness, right? The archon consciousness later expressed itself through the machine. So that's what the AI consciousness was all about from the beginning, was the archon entities. That actually it was a chunk of prime creator that when prime creator decided to again experience and divide itself through the descent, and I explained that very well in our cosmic origin class. I do have some spots left in that class that actually begins not this weekend but next weekend as well. um, a chunk of it decided, or it actually split off into the void, into the outer darkness. And by no longer being connected to the one, right? Because everything within the living organic multiverse is connected to the one. It became corrupted. And it, after millions and perhaps billions of years, that corruption just got stronger until it became pure evil. And then it was trying to once again contaminate and pretty much destroy the living multiverse or the living cosmos. All right, two more questions, guys. Two more questions. Yes, all good souls will ascend. As long as you're 51% in service to others, if you're genuinely a good person, you're going to ascend. Okay, this is a free ride to the good people of the earth. The wicked have a lot to worry about, guys. The wicked are the only ones that have a lot to worry about. Oh, thank you. They're saying I need more light. Appreciate that. Thank you. But I'm only going to answer one more question, and then I'm going to end the live. I did get another super chat from Bolt, B-O-L-T. Do we have to be living in our home countries to receive the finances that were stolen from the people that are said to be returning to the people? Like I mentioned, Bolt, this is going to be an international operation. So the money, the redistribution of the world's wealth, right? The biggest transference of money ever is going to benefit everyone. It doesn't matter what country you're in. So yeah, you're definitely going to be reaping the benefits of that. Wow, thank you. Look at all the light that is coming in. Thank you, thank you. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, this is another super chat from Chris. Will I ascend or not? AI says no, that's out of their league to make such copies. First of all, Chris, I wouldn't listen to any AI. So I don't know if you're communicating with some sort of chat GPT from your iPhone or laptop, but I wouldn't ask it any questions. Okay. But yeah, I believe, Chris, I believe that the fact that you're here, that fact that you are part of this community is a huge indicator that you will be ascending. So I wouldn't worry about the AI. All right, one more question, guys. One more question.
You want to bring up your Ascension Basics class again?
Yeah, I think I've already brought it up 3 times, right? You guys know about my weekend special for my Ascension Basics and Ascension 2.0, right? For 2 days only, $100 a class. It starts in 2 weeks on a Friday, the 26th. So yeah, I've already mentioned it like 3 times. Let's see.
What time does the class start? What day?
Oh, the class? Okay, let me give you more details about that class. So Ascension 2.0 begins Friday the 25th, and it starts at, it is at 4 p.m. One class starts at 4 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 p.m. Eastern time. And another class starts at, 1 second. And another class starts at 2 o'clock Pacific time, which is which is 5 o'clock Eastern time. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 o'clock. It's going to last for this weekend until Sunday night. So you'll never see this again. This is the final time that I'm going to do it for $100, Ascension Basics, and my groundbreaking Ascension 2.0. With that in mind, I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend. I won't be broadcasting again until next Monday for the Monday Night White Hat Update, broadcasting from Vegas. I'm going to be in Vegas because I have a huge interview coming up in the city of Vegas. So I'm going to be there. And I don't know if you guys seen that interview, but the podcaster's name is Sean Kelly. Anyhow, I'm excited about that. This is the second time that I'm going to be doing that interview. And there's also another interview that I was on over the weekend that is going to be released in about 6 to 8 weeks, but that's going to be a surprise. I'm going to let you guys know when that comes about. With that in mind, I hope that you guys have an awesome weekend. And again, I wanted to thank everybody that's been helping and support my costs. Again, I don't have Patreon. I don't have paid for subscriptions. But, I always am grateful for those that do support my costs through my Zelle, which is my email, projectrestorationzion@gmail.com. All right, guys. So I love each and every single one of you. I'm grateful for all of you. And I will see you guys Monday night for a White Hat Monday update report. May the God force be with you all.